Hey everybody, Scott Spreitzer here from DocSports.com. Kentucky Derby preview for Saturday, May 5th, 2018. 144th run for the Roses. We're going to give out a couple of props, couple of head-to-head matchups you can bet coming up a little bit later in this video. All my plays, by the way, all my premium plays are available now in all sports, including Saturday's Kentucky Derby, exclusively at DocSports.com. I'll have my Derby plays up by Saturday morning. You can grab them there. If you are not yet a member, click on the box on the link below the video. The box below the video, nice little paragraph there, tells you how you can get $60 free account with DocSports.com. All you got to do, again, check out the box below the video, click on the link, become a member. Free $60 account is yours, DocSports.com, if you've yet to do so. Again, free picks coming up a little bit later. Let's jump into the 144th run for the Roses. As you know, 5 straight years we've seen post-time chalk win the race. We had Always Dreaming last year. He got the win. And because of that, we've decided to analyze the 5 horses that were single-digit morning line chalk a couple of days ago after the post positions were drawn. We'll analyze those, give you our thoughts on those, and then give you some picks a little bit later. Let's start in alphabetical order. Audible, 6-1, post position number 5, Todd Pletcher horse. Drew the gate. That's produced, what, 1 win every 4 years or thereabouts over the last 21 years. The issue for me, Audible is in a race that I think is going to be a little bit too big for him. Too big of a field, a fantastic field, by the way, a lot of talent in this particular Kentucky Derby. So to me, his chances really drop off because at times you'll see Audible kind of like to stay back a little bit and then try to make his run towards the end, a late closer. And if you work your way to the back and you're kind of watching in this kind of a field, you might get shut down and shut out. And that's what I think will probably happen to Audible in this one. And don't forget, Javier Castellano has the mount on Audible. It's been 11 races now that Castellano has had a Kentucky Derby mount. He's yet to end up in the money. I just don't think he'll be there at the end of this particular race. Bolt d'Oro, 9-1, post position 11. You know, I'm not going to be surprised, as nobody will, if Bolt d'Oro happens to win the 144th run for the Roses. Victor Espinoza's won 2 of his last 4 derbies that he's raced in. Just have to wonder, watching again on YouTube, the Santa Anita Derby, when he fell just a little short in that race of Justify, if Bolt d'Oro is strong enough to challenge, let's say, Justify in this particular race. That's the question mark in this one. It was a nice race, fell just short. I just think Justify is a little bit stronger. A lot obviously has to do with the trip that these horses will get. I think we should be including Bolt d'Oro, obviously, in your exotics. Again, not shocked if he wins, but there are a couple other horses that I like a little bit better to win this particular race. Let's talk about Justify for just a moment. Justify, of course, the 3-1 morning line favorite. You know all about the curse of Apollo. You've heard that everywhere online and by the media when you turn on your TV. Justify didn't race as a 2-year-old. There's your curse of Apollo. But the Bob Baffert trained horse is a deserving favorite, as you all know. 3 for 3, held off Bolt d'Oro at Santa Anita Derby, as I just mentioned. I'm not really worried about the fact that he's only raced in 3 races. You'll remember Big Brown a few years ago was able to win the Derby and had just 3 races on his resume. Can't leave Justify off trifectas. I love where this horse is positioned. Check out the kind of horses that are to his left, the kind of horses to his right. I'm not the first to talk about this week. I'm not breaking news, but I think it allows for Justify to get off to the kind of trip he wants. Then it's a matter of him being able to run at the end, and I do believe he will be in the mix at the end of the race. More on that coming up. Magnum Moon, I've seen, you know, at Churchill Downs on Friday morning at 12-1. After post positions were drawn the other day, it was a single-digit odds horse. 16, that's the post position draw. That's the auxiliary gate for this Pletcher trained horse. And like Justify, unraced at 2 years old. But here's the thing. Arkansas Derby horses have done quite well. They've represented themselves quite well over the last several Kentucky Derbies. I just don't know if this horse is going to have the gas at the end of the race to finish strong, especially, by the way, if Saez is a little bit too aggressive right from the start of the race, which I have a feeling he's going to be. I think that the fact that you're going to see this horse probably get off to too fast of a start and have to go to that reserve tank is going to be too much for it to overcome. That brings us to Mendelssohn, 6-1, drew post position 14. Love this horse. Love what he did at the UAE Derby. Annihilated that field, just tore it up. Nasty, if you will, not even close. Makes me believe this could be the first UAE Derby winner to actually challenge in the Kentucky Derby. As we all know, no winner of the UAE Derby has finished higher than 6th in the Run for the Roses. This horse may get it done. Here's another interesting note that I saw. It might have been Chris Felica or another website that mentioned this, but from the number 14 post position, no horse has won in the last 56 years, since 1961 in the Kentucky Derby, for what it's worth. Let's look at a couple of mid-range or long shots now. Hoffberg was 20-1 on Friday morning at Churchill. Bill Mott, listen, when Bill Mott sends a horse to the Derby, it's like the old commercial, E.F. Hutton talks, everybody listens. When Bill Mott sends a horse to the Derby, you gotta listen. I listen carefully. First real morning long shot, though, was My Boy Jack. Ran well, lost to Mendelssohn, by just 3 lengths in the juvenile turf at the Breeders' Cup. My Boy Jack, I think, is going to overtake, and again, I'm not the first one to say this, but I believe My Boy Jack will overtake some tired horses late in the race, give itself a chance to position for maybe a second or a third, maybe a place or show. Definitely want to include that particular horse, My Boy Jack, in a couple of exotics. Noble Indy, unjustly overlooked, guys, but speed horse in the 19 post position, that does scare me a little bit, but I might mess around here with Noble Indy a little bit in a couple of cheap exotics. I will get to my my props right now that I wanted to talk about. A couple exotics, couple of head-to-head ponies, but first, again, wanted to mention that if you go to that box below this video, click on the link, you can become a member at DocSports.com, at least get a $60 free account to start you off if you're not a member yet. Again, the box below the video, click on the link. My official Derby picks will be available exclusively at DocSports.com, along with all of Saturday's plays from all sports. Kentucky Derby Preakness Double, that's my first prop. I'm going to go with no, which I've seen anywhere from minus $165 to minus 200. So shop around if you agree with this opinion. This is the best Derby field in quite some time, potentially one of the most taxing on the horse that's going to win this particular race. And when you have a taxing race, you have a huge field like this, even though the field drastically cuts down for the Preakness, I don't think it's going to be any easy run when it comes to the Preakness for this year's Kentucky Derby winner. So I'm going to bet no on the Kentucky Preakness Double. Again, anywhere from minus 165 to minus 200. Again, I just think this race is going to be a little bit too taxing for the winner to come back and do it again in 2 weeks. Couple of head-to-head matchups that I wanted to mention. Noble Indy, minus 150 over Bravazzo. You already heard me talking a little bit about Noble Indy. Very good speed horse. Unfortunately, it drew the 19 post position, but I really like him here at minus $150. I think that number's too short against Bravazzo. Also like Good Magic, minus 115 over Audible. Talked a little bit about what I don't like about Audible a little bit earlier in this report. I think Good Magic at minus $115 is a nice head-to-head matchup. Good value on Good Magic there. And my final head-to-head matchup, Justify, I found him at minus 145. It's still there in a couple of books over Audible. You know my feelings on these two horses. We just spoke about it. I think Justify obviously has a great chance to win. I don't think Audible will be in the mix at the end of this race. Justify minus $140 over Audible. Let's repeat those plays, those picks. Kentucky Derby Preakness Double, horse to win the Derby, to win the Preakness, I'm saying no. And again, you can find that minus 165 to minus 200. Head-to-head matchups, Noble Indy, minus 150 over Bravazzo. Good Magic, minus 115 over Audible. Justify, minus 145 over Audible. Hey, listen, we appreciate all the subscriptions that we've received in the couple of weeks we've been doing these videos, so be sure to subscribe. If you haven't, click on the thumbs up button if you like what you see. I'm going to be right back here with our next report Sunday morning with our normal everyday early morning report. We'll talk about early movers in baseball, basketball, what have you, and give you a free pick as we do each and every day. By the way, 4-0 through Thursday this week with our free picks. We look to make it 5-0 on Friday. We're shooting this before that game goes. Again, put Friday in the win column. Put Saturday's Derby in the win column. Put all sports on Saturday in the win column. Right back here Sunday morning, 4 a.m. Eastern, 1 a.m. Pacific. I'm Scott Spreitzer for DocSports.com.